Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday, Miami sports fans. Welcome back to the Miami Sports Break. David Eversole here, joined as always by Jaccare Givens. Been a hot minute since we've been on the air with everybody, so wanted to get back on this beautiful Wednesday and catch up. What's going on, Jock? You look like you're all smiles there. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Just enjoying the day. Just excited to talk about Miami, the Miami Heat. Obviously, that's probably the biggest topic on everybody's mind right now in the sports in Miami. Also, Florida Panthers playing pretty well as well.
Yeah, 20 points already. They're
Yeah, and
really playing well. They hung with the Lightning over three tough games, took 2 out of 3 from the Stanley Cup champs. So
and
good to see
also,
them bouncing back after a tough second game against the Lightning for
also,
sure.
also about the news about Travis Wood.
Yep.
Tavares
Yeah.
Williams leaving to go to
hmm
UCF with Gus Malzahn. I think that's probably a huge loss for Miami, even though he was only there for 16 days. But that was a big loss. But
Right.
I want to go ahead and I'll start off by saying uh, two things. One, the Heat's loyalty and commitment to their culture has cost them. Uh, just being real, it's cost them great players, i.e., just recently James Harden. If you can get James Harden, you don't surrender what they wanted. I don't understand that. And two, I look at the Udonis Haslam, him having a roster spot for no reason. No, and I love Udonis. He's the culture setter, but I'm just saying that spot could have went to a younger player who could have been getting developed. Also, they just missed out. Like Kevin Porter Jr. was available for a trade. They should have kind of moved in on that. So I just think their loyalty and commitment to the culture has cost them, and it's made them do some bad things. I.e., another add-on is why are you re-signing Myers Leonard to $9 million? A
hmm
waste of spot. I feel like you could have went elsewhere with that. Maybe even packaged up money to get
Marcus
Dre Clark.
Morris.
Well, I think Marcus Morris wanted to be in LA. If we're being honest, though, I think he really
hmm
wanted to be there. I think he likes playing with Kawhi, because him and Kawhi are pretty tight. That's his guy, so I think he likes that. But it's just I think Miami could have won a lot of ways, and Miami just failed to address the problem that they were having. Yeah, I know they made a deep run in the bubble, but Miami was too small, and they're
hmm
still too small. They're getting
They got
pounded
no
on the glass.
size.
They're getting pounded on the glass.
hmm
And I think getting a true center will help. Also, a true point guard will help because it'll take pressure off Duncan Robinson having to do dribble handoffs and stuff like that. You can get him set up more. And the personnel that Miami has, they can't defend how they want to defend. The
hmm
switchability, because you got three liabilities on defense when you out there with Olenek, Robinson, and Hero. And Hero hasn't
And Dragic as well. I
and
mean,
Jock
he's
when Jock is there, but Hero hasn't made that jump yet where he can be committed to the defensive end. Not be a great defender, but be a great team defender. He
he can be a
hasn't
plus defender in a
he
defensive scheme for sure.
yeah, he does he hasn't hit that point in his career where he's just, you know what, I'm committed, and it's not about, it's like with Kyle Kuzma, for instance, in LA. It's just about being committed. You can impact the game in other ways, and we're not asking you to be a shutdown defender, but we're asking you to be a good team defender. Fight through the screens. Just exert effort on the defensive end, because defense is about effort. It's not really, it's skill obviously, but it's effort. Like you have
Mhm.
to want to play defense. And Miami has three guys who defense is just not their thing, and they're not committed to it. And if they're not hitting shots, they're worthless on the court. So I just
Well,
I and I also think every other team has gotten better while Miami stayed the same.
and
Got worse.
the problem with Miami is that they don't really excel offensively or defensively. You look at the lineups that Spo's had to use out there, and neither of the starting group is really separating themselves early, and the second unit is just getting crushed all over the place. They're last in the league, near the bottom of the league in turnovers. They're the worst rebounding team overall in the league. And what's surprising is they're really struggling from behind the arc, too. They were 8 from 36 in the last game, and they're not hitting three-pointers. So the offense is kind of reliant on a lot of those Robinson threes, obviously Hero getting involved from beyond the arc. And they just don't really have an identity on offense or on defense right now. And you can blame the different personnel and everything like that, but they got to find a combination that works somewhere. And
I
you
mean,
look at
but
the size, they have
I
no size at all.
but Dave, I think the only way this can be fixed if you make a deal. Because as constructed, Miami's gonna make a push. They'll become about a 7 to 6 seed, 6, 7 to 8 seed. They're gonna get crushed in the first round, and that's about it. That's about as high as the ceiling this team can go as constructed right now. Because let's think about the top teams in the East. If they play 76ers, they're gonna get abused because Embiid is they're too big. So it's just not. And it's similar to what happened in the finals. They were too
And they
small.
can't stop Simmons on the ball either. So he'll get wherever he wants to go on the court, obviously from the point guard spot. They don't match up really well with Milwaukee now anymore. Don't have enough length, I think, on the perimeter to really hang with those guys. And they're a great 3-point shooting team, and they don't have the defense, I think, to close out and really make them a problem. Miami got worse, and like you said, a lot of other teams got better. Jay Crowder, man, that's the one. That's the guy
But
I
see,
look at. Miami needs a four that can stretch the floor and play some defense and be physical.
but see,
And we had that guy and didn't want to give him an extra year.
with Jay Crowder, he gave Miami the ability to guard up.
Mm-hmm.
With
Yep.
Bradley, Miami's guarding down. Like they can attack 3-1. So
They have to play small ball, especially with the second unit, because I was kind of going through some combinations in my head, like different starting lineups, trying to figure out how you could get Bam and Precious out there together, things like that. I know a
yeah,
lot of people
but
say Dunk.
the thing is they're the same player though. So I
Right.
just feel like Precious is great, but I would trade him just because him and Bam together, I don't see it working long term because they're the same player. They like to shoot in the same spots, unless they extend their game to the
If Bam
3 point
can bring his
range.
game out to the arc, then that would change everything. You could put maybe Precious down at the small five in that dunker spot. He could crash the boards. He could take Bam's man on defense and sort of switch Bam to be more of that offensive focused player because Bam does so many things that obviously don't show up on the stat sheet. But he's asked to do so many different things within the scheme, both offensively and defensively, and he needs help. And Jimmy Butler has really carried the offense lately. But beyond him, I think the offense has really just been so inconsistent, and Spo's got to try to push some different buttons. And the problem
See
is, you just don't have the depth to run out.
that, and Miami doesn't have the assets to make a trade, so it's like they're kind of
Who do
stuck.
you give up?
That's what I'm
You have
saying.
no
Like
picks. You don't have anything.
I will say this. I would love to see the Kevin Knox. I want Kevin Knox. I think Kevin Knox is a great fit. I think he will be what Miami need. I think he's still a young developing player, so he has a chance. And I like Frank Ntilikina too. I think he'll be a nice add there. I mentioned a couple of weeks about two guys who all of a sudden they're in trade rooms. I might be the new Woj.
There you go.
I told people about John Collins. I told last time we was on the show with Brady, I mentioned John Collins, and I
Mm-hmm.
also mentioned Lonzo Ball, but I don't see them making a move for them because it's either Pat Riley is really hated in the NBA because I look at the rest of these teams giving up all this garbage just to get all these good players, and Miami, can't do that, and it's just like, come on, man. So the loyalty to his guys has hurt him, and that's been his downfall. If you want to be honest with Miami Heat basketball, um, loyalty to loyalty is good, yes, but it's been loyal to the wrong
Yeah,
reason.
like
Like growing Dragic, it was like he came back. Okay, I understand, but Miles Leonard shouldn't have been back.
Olynyk.
Uh, Olenek, you look at a couple of guys. Even previously when he had the whole Chris Bosh and D Wade saga, like he was more loyal to Chris Bosh than D Wade. It was just
Mm-hmm.
a whole thing.
And this James Johnson and Deion Waiters again,
Yeah, and it's
basically
like,
with Olynyk and Myers Leonard, and they just have a lot of bloat on the
and,
roster.
and I understand Miami wanting to wait it out because they do have the ability uh, to still have the cap room they want to move around in and just go ahead and sign these guys in the offseason. So I understand that, but at the same time, Miami has to figure something out. If they're going to keep this roster as constructed, I doubt it. But I think Miami's going to make a trade, but it's going to get a guy who's more the same of what they have already. I know they've been talking about Bielisa from Sacramento, but he's more the same of what you already got. Drummond, I don't see Drummond signing in Miami just because I think he's either going to go to Brooklyn or the Lakers where he can
Mhm.
compete for a championship.
Yeah, I don't see him making that. Not even a lateral move. I think a downward move. But this West Coast swing is going to be the real deal for Miami. I mean, right now they're 11-16, but they're still right in the playoff mix. They're second in the Southeast Division. You've got 4 more games on the road. You've got Golden State tonight, then back to back with Sacramento. Who Sacramento's a
No,
sneaky
no,
good
no.
team.
They got Golden State tonight. Then they got Lakers on Saturday.
Oh, is it? You should know. It's Sacramento.
I'll look it up right now. I got it. I had it up already, but I had closed it out. Let's look at the Heat schedule.
Yeah, here, I'm looking at
So
Golden State, Sacramento tomorrow night, the 18th, and then at the Lakers, and they
yeah,
close it out at Oklahoma City on Monday, and they'll be back home for 4 games: Toronto, Utah, and then back to back with Atlanta. So they've got to
I,
win at least 2 of these games on the road. At
I,
Sacramento
I
is a
will go
winnable
out.
game.
I
Oklahoma
will
City is
go
a
out
winnable game.
on a limb today. I think they're gonna beat Golden State tonight. I don't know if they steal the game in LA. I don't see it with LeBron how
I
bad, but
don't
I
think
think
so.
they can beat them as well without AD. Um, and I think it's a bad matchup for Marc Gasol. So I think Miami probably will win 2 games. Like they'll beat
Yeah.
Golden State tonight, probably beat Sacramento. And let's see how that goes out. But I will say this as a prize pick, for a guy to go over tonight. I think Duncan Robinson goes off tonight. I think he has a big
Well,
game.
let's
Yeah.
take a look at what we got for prize picks. It's a pretty good NBA slate tonight, actually. So we've got quite a few games going on here. So we got I don't know if Duncan Robinson's even on the board tonight for the Heat. So you've got Steph Curry 49. What do you think of that? Over
I
under
think
49
Steph.
fantasy
I think
points.
he's gonna go off. I think he goes over. I don't. Miami has nobody who can defend him.
hmm I think Jimmy goes over 45. He's basically been carrying the offense.
He has to. And
Yeah,
Bam Adebayo is gonna have a big game tonight as well. Because
44.
Warriors have no size either, so it's a perfect matchup.
Yeah, Hero over under 29. You think with prize picks?
Under, because the Warriors' second unit is actually pretty good defensively.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to maybe have some struggles there. But if you look further up of the board with the prize pick states, there's some interesting players. Ja Morant, 38 points. I like the over with him there. And I also like Bradley Beal over 45.5.
Against the Nuggets.
Yeah, I
I
think he
like
can go.
I like Jokic to go over tonight because I think Jokic. I don't think they don't have the size for him. Hey, you
He's
know
playing
a
at
guy,
MVP level too.
another guy Miami should have tried to sign this offseason who I mentioned too was Jeremy Grant, and they didn't. He ended up signing in Detroit, but I think Grant would
Right.
have been a great fit for Miami right now.
Yeah, no, I think they need something at the 4 spot tonight for sure. I mean, they're going to be struggling. I think
I
with
think
a
they
lot
win
of just
tonight though.
yeah. I think it's going to be maybe a higher scoring game. The defense, though, man. If we're going to pick one side of the ball to get right with the Heat, I think it's going to be the defense. Finally, they've got to really get back to that Heat identity. They've had a lot of trouble
Yeah,
defending,
because
obviously, the three
this
point
team,
line.
this team as constructed has to defend to win. They have to play great defense to be able to win games. We don't have the offensive firepower. I don't know. I don't want to say last year was a fluke because it's never a fluke when you make it to the NBA Finals. But who knows? The way it's looking, they look like a fluke. But it's never a fluke when you make it to the NBA Finals. And I just think those guys have to buckle down and bunker down and just develop an identity. And if it's as constructed with this roster, you have to develop identity. But it's a couple of young guys who I think they should take a look at, like a Thon Maker, who's a free agent right now. I think he has great size and great upside as well. He's 23 years old. He's 7 feet. I think he can still develop into a great player, and I think he could be not a role player, but he could be a guy you add to the roster, and he can get better. Uh, John
They need
Henson,
depth. They have no bigs. They have no depth at all at the 4 and 5, really.
John Henson's another guy as well who can be a sneaky play too.
They need somebody who can stretch the floor. I know there's been some Blake Griffin talk, but he's got really nothing left athletically from what it looks like. I don't know if
But
he's just half speed.
he would add something to the team. Also, with Blake, it's just if the Heat trade for him, he's fucking them over. Excuse my
Mm-hmm.
language, because he's not going to turn down a $39 million player option next year.
No, and nobody's going to touch that. That's a toxic,
Yeah,
basically, number for
but
anybody. I mean,
if he get bought out, I think he signs with Miami. I think it's a great fit for him. I think that he would give them what they needed. He can obviously shoot the three now a little bit better. I just think he'll be great in Miami. I think he can resurge his career in Miami. Get
well, I
back
mean,
to.
Butler, Griffin, and Bam. That's not a bad front court at all. Really, that's really not a bad front court. And then you could have Precious and Olynyk as your 4 or 5 on the second unit, with Hero and Nunn and Iguodala, and that's a pretty solid lineup there. I don't think it's a great defensive lineup. Iguodala kind of be the anchor of the defense, along with probably Precious with the energy and the rebounding. But somebody like that you could just plug in at the power forward spot is really, I think, the biggest need for this team. Before, it was always Miami needed guards, they needed backcourt players. Now they need size. You
That's
saw
the
it against the
opposite.
Lakers. Yep. Now you see it. I mean, against the Lakers, obviously with AD, I mean, the size just kind of wore Miami down. Somebody like athletic at the 4 spot that can give you a little bit beyond the arc.
Like I
Just
said,
either move to the corners.
John Collins would be perfect, but Miami can't have him, man. They want an expensive lottery pick for
Mm-hmm.
him.
Yeah. Is he a
I
max
would.
player? Is John
Is he a
Collins a
man?
max player?
Well, if De'Aaron Fox signed, you can say yes. You know what I mean? Because you gotta look at the guys who already signed. He has similar numbers to those guys. I think his numbers are hurt. I honestly, because he's playing with Trae Young, and Trae Young got the ultimate green light, so he doesn't probably get the touches he may get if he was on another team. As far as the pick and roll game, but yes, you have to sign him to a max. He's still a young kid and still has room to grow, and you take a gamble on that.
Yeah, he's got definitely a really good upside, and the athleticism
Can
is
shoot the
obviously
three.
plus.
Can shoot the three.
No, he's got a lot of definitely different things to offer a team, and somebody's going to throw the bag at him. I just don't think Miami's really in a position to pay him right now.
Well, I
Miami's
mean,
more of like a.
in the off season, they have money. You struck out on Giannis. Giannis re-signed.
But is he your whale? Is he that missing piece? Is that going to be your guy?
I think Miami needs to lean away from that and just go ahead and develop these guys if we want to be honest. Because if we develop those guys, then he can be the missing piece.
Mhm.
Um,
I just don't feel like that the Heat really are one piece away. I think they're 2 or 3 pieces away. And I think just everything kind of broke right for them last year. I know, and you and I have kind of differentiated on the bubble, the not the bubble. But listen, like you always say, it takes a little bit of luck to be a champion as
oh yeah,
well.
to win a championship, everything goes your way. So you get the right matchups, you get the right people. Is the truth. Like no
Yeah.
matter what people want to say, oh no, that's like you can just look at the Super Bowl. Tampa
Yep.
Bay
Exactly.
played against backup offensive linemen. It happens. It's not nothing wrong with it. That's just how it goes.
Exactly. Well, I want to switch gears here for a minute. I know we talked about it briefly in the opening here about Tavares Williams switching from the University of Miami and obviously not going with Gus Malzahn. First of all, what do you think about Malzahn kind of sticking his nose in there after Williams came to the Hurricanes and reaching
Well,
out to him? And
I'm gonna read a statement that Williams said in the statement. They asked him about his decision to leave Miami after a few weeks. He said Manny Diaz told him, "You have to take that. It's a great opportunity." Said when Gus Malzahn reached out to him, it piqued his interest. Where do I sign up? It was a no-brainer, and I think it was really not. Uh, it's really not nothing wrong with it because you have to take the defensive coordinator. And sorry, it's not Tavares, it's Travis Williams. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Um, Travis was with him at Auburn anyway, so I think it was just a good fit for him.
Hmm.
Um, you have to go with your guy, and he knows Malzahn already, and it's a great fit for him. I think Malzahn's going to do amazing at UCF because I think he's going to steal some caliber players.
Oh
He
yeah.
was always good at Auburn. You can't blame the guy for taking a better job because for what it seems like to me, he wants to be a head coach. So I think that's probably the biggest reason why he made the jump.
Yeah, he's on his way, obviously, with Malzahn building a staff over there at UCF. They're going to be a threat sooner than later. You're in the Florida market. You're going to have access to all the good recruits. And like you said, Malzahn was an elite recruiter in the SEC. He knows how to get it done in the South. He's already got established relationships all over the place.
And it's just the familiarity with Williams on defense. He was with him at
Mhm.
Auburn. Malzahn obviously got
Right.
fired from Auburn. His guys dispersed, but you can't turn down the opportunity to go work with somebody you already know what they expect, and he's giving you a higher position.
Yeah. Should Miami have given him the defensive coordinator spot?
That's a tough call. Like I said, I've been on the record saying I think Manny Diaz is going to struggle in that role, doing both. So it is a tough call, but uh, I think that him or T. Rob should have got the job anyway. Maybe he doesn't leave, but it's just I don't know. Miami's in a flux. We win the off season, but that's a huge loss for them though, really, because you had a defensive coordinator caliber guy on your staff coaching the LBs, and it could have just been a beautiful thing.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, what's the latest on the J.J. Watt situation?
I'm hearing Watt likes Cleveland, but if I'm JJ Watt, I'm only signing with two teams. I'm only signing with the Kansas City Chiefs or the Green Bay Packers.
And I know that's the latest kind of rumor him to the Packers. So it's one of
Just
those things.
because
Yeah,
it makes sense for him. They're contenders. They're a good team already. Like I don't really feel like the Dolphins need him per se. Because if the Dolphins are gonna keep this giraffe capital that it's leaning like they are, then you have to giraffe depth at the positions because you want to leave your free agency wriggle room for big signings, if you get what I mean. So I'm gonna giraffe guys that can develop, but save my signings. Throw the bag out of Aaron Jones, like we all mentioned, or throw the bag out of Allen Robinson. Throw the bag at upcoming pending free agents that you may trade for, say like a Orlando Brown, something like that. Just save your money for that and giraffe guys, because while they're on rookie deals, you can go ahead and exhaust the salary cap. One thing you are going to see in the NFL a lot this season is a lot of one-year deals because the salary cap is not where people thought it would be. So it's going to be a lot of one-year deals, and you'll be seeing guys taking one-year deals and just developing off of that.
yeah. Do you think the Miami should hang on to the third pick? Should they trade down? Should they build more capital? What do you think they should do?
Okay, first off, I know a lot of people threw flack at me on Twitter about the Aaron Jones signing,
No,
but you signed
never.
Aaron Jones. You signed Aaron Jones, one. Two, I'm giraffing Penei Sewell at three.
And that a lot of mocks, every mock I see on Twitter, is just plugging him right into three, and just set it and forget it. I mean,
Because
I get it. It's not the sexy pick. He's a generational left tackle. Blah 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 blah
I
blah.
don't know about the generational left tackle part, but he's good. He's very good, and I
But
think
how's that
that
worked out for the Dolphins the last two
what you
times?
mean you have two bookend tackles under a new regime.
But I mean, do you not have two? Austin Jackson, I think, is got a lot of potential.
Yeah, but Austin Jackson and him, two bookend left and right tackles. It don't matter who the down quarterback is. If he's getting protected, does not matter.
And then maybe they have to move up from 18 to grab somebody like a Waddle. Because I don't know if those
Well,
guys are going to
Waddle, I
fall that
think,
far.
I
That's going
think
to shuffle
Waddle,
the draft if Miami takes a real tackle.
I think Waddle will probably fall a little bit just because of the injury. With no real pro day and no real, other indicators is he healthy. I think he takes a tumble and you just take him at 18.
If you can get him at 18, I think you run to the podium right there. And you look at especially if you bring in Aaron Jones, obviously that's gonna whoever you get in free agency, I think you're gonna go the other route in the draft.
Yeah. So
Obviously,
if they sign a receiver, they're gonna take receiver and running back. Obviously, like I said, I don't think Aaron Jones just is the perfect fit for me to pair with a Miles Gaskins and Savon Ahmed. The guy's a touchdown machine, great hands out the backfield, explosive playmaker, great running game. And also I'm a guy who's gonna fall too is Devonta Smith because I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, he's too small." I don't really give a damn about his size. I think he's a great player. So I'm for Smith or Sewell. I don't know if I'll take Smith at 3 though. I think if you're gonna take receiver, you trade down.
yeah, I think I'm kind of leaning that way too. I think is a little bit of a reach for any of those guys because they're all going to be available. You're gonna Chase is going to be there, Smith is going to be there, Waddle is going to be there at 3. One of those guys is probably going to be there at 18 too. And you know what? If you got to move up a little bit to get your guy, you got to go up and get your guy. But I'm still not sold on the left tackle at 3. That's just me. But well, obviously the people a lot smarter than me are making these decisions, so it doesn't really matter, I guess, what I say. But we're here to
But I
talk.
mean,
So
it's another thing too that you have to factor in is that Flores is a defensive coach, so he's gonna build his team from the outside in. Now, at 3, what I really would like if it was a stronger pass rush class is a pass rusher.
yeah, which I think we can get a guy at 18, even if Miami could trade down a little bit and stack some picks up and move around. Russo or Quincy Roche are going to be there at
No,
18.
no,
One of
no,
those
no, no.
two guys. I think one of them will be there.
I think the best one out of them is Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips
Yeah, or
has the
Phillips. Yeah,
most.
Phillips too.
Phillips
Yeah,
has the most talent out of all those guys.
I would take Phillips over the other two as well.
Yes, because he's explosive, and I just think he'd probably be a better NFL player. Just less stuff to worry about for
He
him.
can win one-on-one, which we always talk about. You got
Yes,
to win with 4.
He has to win with 4, and
Is he
the
a
way
war
that
daddy? Is he a war
yes,
daddy
he's a
though?
war daddy.
He's a war daddy.
He's a war daddy, dude.
Yeah.
I think Miami has to address the O line and D line. Are you guys gonna say for instance this happens? You take all line at 3, 18, you get a Waddle or Chase or whoever. At 18, Chase is a great value pick.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, so
I
you get
agree, and
that.
he's
You take
faster than people say. Also, I think he might be even faster than Smith. Honestly,
no. I think
no, that's what I've been hearing. They're close. They're not that far away.
Chase is Dez Bryant. That's who he is. He's gonna be. He goes like a AJ Brown from for Tennessee had similar comps. He struggled a little bit with press, but he's tore the NFL up because he's a physical guy. He's strong at the point of attack, so you can't be successful. But I think at 3, and then you get Creed Humphrey at center in the second round or whatever round. You can't go wrong building up the offensive line.
Yeah.
And you just go from there because every year you're gonna have guys who get cut, who training camp cut, surprise cut, stuff like that. So if you don't go there, I like the Jason Kelsey. If they release Jason Kelsey from Philadelphia, I think you go ahead and sign him to a 2 to 3 year deal because
I think get him pretty reasonable too. I don't know because he's on the downside of his career. But he's very good.
He still was the best center in the league last year. You signed him right away, and you just go from there. I mean, I'm for building up the offensive line. So that's how you win.
If you take Sewell, then I think you could go heavier in free agency for the skill positions. Because the Sewell thing is like the draft is obviously a lot fuller in offensive skill players than it is an offensive lineman. There's very few offensive linemen that grade out in that high first round range. So if you take Sewell at 3, it's going to open up the free agency, I think, to maybe go after an Aaron Jones and maybe an Allen Robinson. You might have to get 2 guys, and then you bring in a Jalen Waddle. You're going to probably cut Albert Wilson. Hearns is going to be back. I mean, there's going to be a lot of fluid situations, I think, with these marginal guys. Miami's going to make some cuts to free up some more money on the salary cap, and it's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to kind of see how this draft plays out because
And
it's been building for 2 years.
Another guy that I'll be interested to, if I don't know if Denver would be interested in trading him. It's Von Miller.
Von Miller. Yeah, you said that on one of the others. It's not bad. I mean, if you could get him to kind of give you that Cam Wake.
I'm being honest. I think that they shouldn't use all these draft picks. They need to trade some of this to get some guys, some veteran guys, maybe, or younger guys. Call Tampa Bay for O.J. Howard if you want another tight end. And another guy I wouldn't be, if he falls at 18, you take his Kyle Pitts. If Pitts is there at 18, you take him right away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, him and Gesicki would be nasty. That'd be pretty crazy. But it's kind of you have a luxury when there's so many other needs. But he's giving you a skill guy. He's basically a wide receiver with his skill set. So
big wide receiver, yes.
No, but it's nice that they have the flexibility. I think Tua is going to be the guy. I don't see the Watson thing happening.
The reports that we read, from what we've seen, was that they're committed to Tua.
Yeah, so you build around him. I mean, you took him as your franchise quarterback last year. You've had this plan in place to build assets for the draft and salary cap positioning for free agency. So now it's time for the rubber to meet the road with all these things that you've been putting in place organizationally. So the flexibility is never a bad thing. So it's going to be a great offseason, but we got a lot of time between now and then. So we're going to focus now on the Heat, the Panthers, and what's in front of us next couple months.
We just got to get those guys together, man, so we can be all right.
Exactly. And before we go here, I want to mention one of our great sponsors of the 5 Reasons Sports Network, Biscayne Bay Brew, local brewery here in South Florida, works with all the local sports teams as well, and is a wonderful sponsor of the 5 Reasons Network. Want to make sure that you guys find them at www.biscaynebaybrewing.com/beer finder. You plug that in and you can find where it's available in your area. Make sure you pick up on that. And we're on one of the later shows, not during the midday. I'll definitely have a couple cold ones with you, Jock. So want to thank everybody for tuning in. And we're going to probably be back on Friday to get ready for the weekend and see what's going on.
Yeah, and preview the Lakers and Heat matchup. Let's see where Miami's at after this.
Yeah, if it's going to be all doom and gloom, or they're pulling out against Golden State, the Heat are back. So they're all over the place, just like a lot of things in this day and age. So we'll stay tuned because it could change in a minute. So want to thank everybody for watching, and we'll catch you guys on Friday.